Neil's doing a little jig to that song. Not that you can
Is that what that is?
I don't know what it's not dancing. It's got to be something other than a dance. I'm not sure what that
I think the official name of that step is Please Stop.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. Good morning to you. Welcome to Wednesday. It's 8:52.
Of course, Glen Campbell. I don't know if you know this or not, so maybe I don't even say of course. Glen Campbell plays guitar on that song too. One of hundreds that he played on as a session guitarist. Of course, he had an amazing solo career as well. We've brought in our friend, musicologist, commentator, PR guy extraordinaire, Eric Alper is here. Good morning, my friend.
Hi. Oh, applause too. Isn't that amazing that, you know, when somebody like Glen Campbell passes away, it's a nice time to reflect on people's careers when this happens. But you go through the sheer amount of songs. It's like the all-time top 500 songs of all time, really, when you get down to it. You know, You Lost That Lovin' Feelin' by the Righteous Brothers, Mr. Tambourine Man by the Byrds. He was such a musician, and a songwriter. You know, you talk to anybody in the industry, and he just has those special moments where he wasn't hee-haw country that I grew up watching. He was like the real kind of country music that blended into pop, that had the Eagles and Linda Ronstadt. It's amazing when you consider the breadth of his career.
Well, and there's the legendary story about Glen Campbell being in the session where Frank Sinatra recorded Strangers in the Night, and Sinatra walks in, he sees Glen Campbell sitting down at the end of the row of people in the orchestra and the band, and he says, get rid of that long-haired expletive on the end, except that then Glen Campbell stands up and Sinatra says to him, can you actually play that thing? And Glen Campbell lays down a couple of licks, and Sinatra says, wow, okay, you can stay. And so that's how he got on that song.
Well, you know, that being said, there's so many sides of Glen Campbell that I'm discovering this morning. You know, unfortunately, in his death, we see different sides that I never knew about before. And I'm familiar with country music. I knew he was a great artist, Eric, but I didn't know he could pick up any instrument and just do a number on it. Like you said, Frank Sinatra's impressed by that.
Yeah, you know, it's amazing. I think that we've all been around people in our lives that have Alzheimer's. And one of the facts that doctors and researchers have found in the last 10 or 15 or even 20 years is that you may not remember your own children, but you will remember a song from when you heard and loved when you were 15 years old, 60 years ago or 50 years ago. And that's what Glen Campbell truly proved, is that his family could have shied him away from the spotlight and just stuck him in his house and having him lived his final days off in private. But being on stage and looking at the audience and remembering these songs and playing these songs and the sheer amount of songs that he has really proves that music and music therapy is sometimes one of the best tools when you have this horrible disease. I mean, he really put the spotlight on Alzheimer's probably more than anybody else around the world in the last number of years.
You know, there are people, and we just played Viva Las Vegas. There are many people, and not just this morning, some of these comments go back years of comparing Glen Campbell to Elvis in terms of impact on the industry. Fair comparison?
Yeah, definitely. I would say that Elvis has that absolute coolness that, you know, without going into the broad history of what Elvis meant not only to teenagers but to adults and pop culture, Glen Campbell probably did more to allow the style of country music to be heard today. I was watching the video for Rhinestone Cowboy this morning, and it could have been Beck. You know, with that funky shirt, the very large, sideburns and the haircut. It's Beck, it's Drive-By Truckers, it's My Morning Jacket. It's all of these bands that are holding the torch of this alt-country movement. Sure. Wilco, they all stem from Glen Campbell. You know, they all come from that California pop country music where, I mean, look, country music today is big. You have the Luke Bryant, you have obviously, the Taylor Swifts and the Eric Church, but it's still segregated to the point where if you like country, you probably won't be seen at these shows. Glen Campbell was big enough that he brought people who didn't necessarily like country music into that world and into that kind of lifestyle.
He was one of those guys. He was all genres, and he was all different kinds of music. We'll give you another example of that in just a second here with the song that we're about to play. Eric Alper, thank you for the time.
Thank you,
morning.
Eric.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. Always great to be here.
Another of the songs that he played, because people forget, Glen Campbell was a Beach Boy. He's playing guitar on this one. It's Help Me Rhonda from Zoomer Radio.
Well, since she put me down, I bet I